I'm here with Peter Lavelle, host of RT's CrossTalk. Peter, let's talk about the Antifa terrorist group and the recent death of Willem Van Spronsen, who was an Antifa quote-unquote activist, according to the group. Now he's been martyred, according to the group.
Martyred.
Well, yeah, this is what the group has announced. Peter, what do you make of this incident outside of the ICE facilities? And what do you make of the fact that CNN is defending Van Spronsen, that Antifa has martyred him? And do you think that Antifa is a terrorist group?
Oh, absolutely. It is a terrorist group. With this incident in this ICE facility is a textbook definition of terrorism, using violence to effect a political end and beyond the law, because what he did was not within the law. It wasn't civil disobedience, where there is room for civil disobedience. But this isn't civil disobedience. This is the use of force to affect a political outcome. And what is more pathetic by this, not just the act of one incompetent individual that ended up getting killed for his silly behavior and destructive behavior, it's the enablers that I find truly appalling. The university system, taxpayers pay for these things, okay? And we have faculty at these institutions of higher education. Some of them very prestigious. They're preaching. I'm using the right word here. An ideology of hate and of mindlessness. Okay. Then you have CNN, another enabler, cheerleading along these people because they're against Trump. This is the intellectual level of a 5-year-old. That's CNN. Okay. They're enabling this type of behavior and enabling this kind of ideology, and they have blood on their hands. For propping them up, not condemning them. Then you have, and we're going to talk a little bit later about the squad, when asked to comment on this, no comment. Okay, so Jeff Zucker is Fox News asked for a comment, no comment. The AT&T, the owner of CNN, they also had no comment. So what's going on here? You push this hate ideology, an ideology of hate, and you won't comment on it? This is absurd, and it's very, very dangerous. And if they're not condemned, then it will just only get worse. And this is these enablers are actually more responsible than these kids and whoever they are. They wear black masks. Why do you wear a black mask? Are you ashamed of what you're doing? You don't want people to know you are doing this? This is ridiculous. And what happens is it's breaking down social discourse. Discourse is being eliminated by this. They call themselves Antifa, anti-fascist. Well, this is a fascist mindset. Alex, how do you know you're right about something? Well, usually you test your arguments, right? Against someone, someone that disagrees with you. You test it. Dialogue. And then you can affirm your belief. All of us through life change our opinions on things. That's good. That means you're learning about something. These people have already decided that they know the truth, and any kind of social discourse is illegitimate. This is a fascistic mindset. Okay? You already know the truth, and those that don't agree with you are evil and must be eliminated. That's a fascist mindset. And it's being given oxygen by the left repeatedly. Next time, more people are going to be killed. And sometimes it may be federal officers, and maybe Antifa members. And this is going to spiral out of control. And the squad, as it were, these freshman congresswomen, they need to be responsible. Not on any occasion I've seen them be responsible. This is adolescence in power. All right, and they're ideologically possessed. And in what this Antifa, the squad, what they're doing is creating a circular firing squad. I mean, just watch, okay? Who's holier than thou? And this is what it's going to get down to. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is accused of being a racist, then she turns around and calls Donald Trump a racist. Okay, I mean, what? I guess I have a general question for anybody watching this. What is racism? If everything is racism, then nothing is racism. This is absurd. This is absurd. Where did Cory Booker learn about racism? Did he learn about it when he was a Rhodes Scholar? Or did his IBM employed parents tell him about racism? Did he learn it when he was at Princeton Law School? Did he learn it in the Senate? I mean, I wish I had that kind of privilege. Really, how many people have that privilege in life? And he talks about racist America? Huh? This is absurd. Pete Buttigieg going around saying that his father was a victim of racism. Well, I think his father was European. Okay.
He is European, yeah.
Yeah.
Living in South Bend, Indiana. Going to Notre Dame.
Professor at Notre Dame. Okay.
One of the most privileged schools.
Then I will just repeat. Then what is racism if that's the bar? Okay. So this is absurd. Trump is playing. We've talked about this. This is all about the campaign, and he's gone total animal. Okay. This is calculated on his part. Do I agree with his wording? Not necessarily. I very rarely do. But I don't see it as being racist. I see it as really, knuckleball. Okay, that's what it is. And that's what the intent was. And we see what it did? It got the Democrats to start yelling and screaming at themselves. That was calculated. Because he knows, and conservatives know, the country is getting sick and tired of this juvenile behavior. There are more important things to be tackled, must be done. And all of this ridiculous behavior is just a distraction. It's simply a distraction. So Russiagate fails, collusion fails, obstruction of justice fails. He's a racist.
Impeach him. He's a racist.
Impeach him.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the next talking point. Impeach him because he's a racist.
What's this? But what's the great irony of all of this is that it's the left that is invoking racism all of the time. That's their calling card. They call people like us a dog whistle. The entire CNN and MSNBC, Hollywood, the university system, they are one huge collective dog whistle. They're the ones mentioning it. Kamala Harris was the first one to throw the race card on the table during the debates. She was the first one. Another privileged person.
Which was
another
calculated.
Privileged person.
That was calculated, scripted, and completely staged.
When they had T-shirts ready.
T-shirts, tweets, everything was ready to go.
Let's just recap here. What's very important is to resolve things, you must have a dialogue. I am against abortion. Convince me otherwise. You don't have to bring Roman knuckles to the conversation. Sit down and calmly explain me your position. Maybe you could change it. I doubt it. But I'm always open-minded to listen to people. These people have closed their mind. They have decided. And anyone that doesn't agree with them is the enemy. All right? And there was one member of the squad saying, they don't need brown people if they don't speak like brown people. They don't need black people if they don't talk like black people. Yeah, well, that's racist. Okay, what about the content of your character? What happened to that? What happened?
Peter, are AOC +3, are they even smart enough? Are they intelligent enough, though, to engage in this type of discord?
No,
it doesn't seem like they are, because
look, it's virtue signaling. That's all they know.
But they are scripted actors and actresses, are they not? Yeah. I mean, they're also scripted. This is the problem. There's no leadership.
What they're doing is they're creating minefields, but for themselves as well. They're trying to trip up Trump, Tucker. Force them to go down a rabbit hole. But we're resisting. We're not going to do that because we're not going to play by your rules. Then you're the enemy if you don't play by our rules. You see how this is just a closed loop, okay? It defies logic and common sense. They want people to trip up, go down their rabbit hole, and they want to claim a moral victory. What all of the squad and the rest of them, do they ever talk about real policy? Really? No, they just get triggered on a daily basis, and then they go to Twitter. And Twitter is just triggered by nature these days. I don't participate in it. I have a day job. I have to do things. I have to get things done. All right. So this is this kind of triggered environment, and they want to trigger us. And and when we are triggered, we calm down and talk about facts and about how this doesn't move the needle on anything of value. Okay, and it doesn't. It's the politics of virtue signaling, and it's puff. That's just puff. It doesn't get anything done.
The argument, Peter, from Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, I remember it, was that Antifa cannot be a terrorist group because in their name you have anti-fascist. That was their argument. I mean, this is who we're dealing with in the mainstream media as well. So I said the AOC plus 3 are not intelligent enough. But then you look at the media that's propping up Antifa and AOC and you say, well, these guys are no better. They're just as dumb.
Yeah. No, but see, that's why they're all the enablers. They're the enablers of these people that walk around with bats and with masks on their face. They're given a safe space, if I can use a woke term, to do this. And again, it ends up being circular. All right, they all reinforce each other. I mean, you have a primetime CNN anchor talking to people in Antifa in Portland, and the Antifa member gave him Roman knuckles and a knife. And he was like, "Oh, this is cool! Wow!" He praising them. And at the end of his segment, he told the audience to financially support these people.
Jesus,
what?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
This is insane. This is insanity. Now, just to give a parallel. After Barack Obama was elected first the president, then by the midterms, 2010, you had the advent of the Tea Party. They were loud, they were obnoxious sometimes, but they never used violence, and they never used a language of violence. The conservatives are not that way. First of all, we conservatives don't work in a group. We're not a herd. That's what makes us different from these people. It's very difficult to get me to do something just because someone else is doing it. I think for myself, the herd mentality is always on the left. And this is what creates this momentum. That's why Hollywood, the university system, professors, media, the Democratic Party, they nurture it. This is where we are.
Trump understood this. He understood the herd mentality when he sent out that tweet.
Oh, yeah.
He knew it was going to happen.
Yep. He did. And this is retail politics at its best or worst, depending on how you feel about it, okay? It's called politics. And it's nasty, it's mean, it's hard. And Trump he's got to win to his back, and he knows it. Don't start a war. He's got the wind to his back. And let his enemies shoot themselves up. And that's what they're doing. I mean, watching the Squad and Pelosi, I mean, you couldn't make this up. Okay, you couldn't make it up.
But it was completely predictable.
Yeah, and Pelosi, with every passing day, is showing that she has lost control. She's lost control. And at a time when they should actually be in lockstep unity, they're not. Yeah, they all have Trump derangement syndrome. This is what happens. This phenomenon defies logic, and Trump knows that. He knows he can get in their heads and then stir it up. Okay, it's politics. Again, I want to stress here, President Trump has policies that I strongly, strongly disagree with. But I'm trying to be dispassionate here and looking at how the political process works. He understands how it works. Because when you're ideologically possessed, you lack common sense. That's what the left is right now.
Yeah, and from the outside looking in, being outside of the United States and seeing what's going on, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm saying this is madness. They're in Colorado, They're pulling down American flags, spray painting them, turning them upside down, and then raising a Mexican flag and raising the other flag next to it. You have these 29-year-old ideologues running the Democrat Party, and you have Nancy Pelosi, 30, 40 years in Congress, who's bowing down to them. It's bizarre.
They created these circumstances for it to happen. They're all their own fault. If they would just calm down, put their hairs are all on fire, and this is a way for them to just destroy themselves. They don't have to worry about Trump doing anything. Trump just has to stand there, and it's how they react to him. And this shows a lack of maturity. I mean, and they're absolutely right. I mean, AOC, I mean, she's kind of the representative. She represents this new kind of anti-politics. Don't think, facts aren't important. How you feel is most important. And it doesn't have to be grounded in reality. Okay? I mean, I taught modern European history at the University of California. You know, comparing the southern border to Nazi Germany, you don't know anything about history, AOC, and the rest of you don't know anything about history. And what it does is it cheapens tragedy that has happened in the past. It cheapens it. And that's what they do. See, there is no past for them because the past is unacceptable, okay? And they have to remake it. Take down all the statues, take the murals down, and then you live in this infinite single moment that you want to control and change and put an interpretation on it that isn't has any connection with the past or with reality. This is what they're doing. It's really tragic. And you have at least 2 generations brought up under this ideology in the university system. Okay, it's not like this thing just started. It's just taking on a new form right now, and it's gone into the mainstream. That's what's dangerous. I saw this stuff 25 years ago at the university, and it's one of the reasons why I left. I said I don't like talking like this. This is all nonsense. This is not scholarship. But now it's in mainstream politics. It was only a matter of time, because that's an ideology of complete intolerance. That's what fascism is.
That's the whole point, is it not, Peter? I mean, you said it's control and power in the hands of these AOC +3 kind of ideologues. I mean, that's the end game, is it not?
Yes. Well, but if you look at some of the internal polling that's going on here, the squad doesn't have any poll at all. Okay, but most people know who the squad is, but most people don't like them either. All right. And this is the face of the Democratic Party. This is a really bad lose situation. And the thing is that if they don't achieve power, they will call foul play. It'll be, the patriarchy did it, Trump did it, the Russians did it. They'll always have an excuse because they can't be wrong, because they have an ideology that is a religion. It's a dogma. We've talked about this before. They're secular church. Okay, they have their scripture, they have their deacons and their bishops, and they have a woman pope, AOC.
They're
okay,
foot soldiers.
Yep.
In Antifa,
Yep.
who are very dangerous.
They have propagandists like CNN. Yeah, yeah. It's the whole artifice is right there. And they all reinforce each other too. That's a recipe for absolute disaster. You know why? Because most people aren't on board, and they just don't see it that way. They just say, I don't know what you're talking about. And people will turn off from that. That's where the division continues. Okay, when 2 major parts of a population can't even be on speaking terms, you're in trouble. The country fought a civil war over that.
I have
not being able to talk.
I have to get your take on this, Peter. Is this because people think, okay, there's maybe 10% of the population is on board with AOC +3 and this type of ideology. But if you go back in history to the formation of the Soviet Union and the Bolsheviks, 1917, 1918, isn't it important to point out that the Bolsheviks were not this supermajority that came to power?
They came to power through a military coup, is how they came to power, okay? And then they got their hands on the levers of power and were able to systematically build a dictatorship, okay? And they rolled out an ideology to reinforce it, okay? But you're absolutely right, okay? But they came to power when the legitimate authority was exhausted, had lost a lot of legitimacy, and was losing a war, okay? But the parallel is interesting because I don't see these people actually achieving power. What I'm worried about is that when they fail to achieve the power, they were going to look for a reason why they failed, because they can't, because their religion, their God tells them that they will succeed. They will have salvation. I'm going to keep using this religious terminology because it's appropriate here. And so when your God fails, well, God can't fail. That must mean somebody else did it. And that's why we're going to go through this again in 2020.
Until something really bad happens.
Something really bad happens. Okay. And what's happening is that the media is legitimizing violence. They're legitimizing it. That's when you go down that road, you lose your country.
Peter Lavelle, host of RT's CrossTalk. Fascinating discussion. Thank you very much. Guys, if you like this video, click on the subscribe button down below. Click on the notifications bell to make sure you get notifications every time we push out a new video. Share our channel. We are on BitChute. Share it on Minds. Share it on Gab. Share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. Share it with your friends via email. Help get
just share it.
Just share it. Help get the word out about the Duran. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up a t-shirt. Pick up mugs. It really helps us out a lot. Donate to us on PayPal, Patreon, and Subscribestar. The links are in the description box down below. Peter Lavelle, host of RT's CrossTalk. Thank you very much. Till next time, everybody. Take care.